can you tell me about your experience with the Art of Living Black?
Well, I just moved up to the Bay Area in the early 90s, and a fellow friend of mine who was an artist told me about the Art of Living Black. But I kept missing the deadline because it happened like in summer, and it was for the following March. But finally I got it together in 2000, and that was the first time. And they said, I really think you should try it. I came up here to go to school to Sonoma State to be an art therapist, and they had seen some of my work, and they said, you ought to try and get it into the show. And so that was my first time, and I've done it every year since.
So what's emotionally been your experience with the exhibit? How's it kind of felt?
Oh, the Art of Living Black is just my inspiration to really get me started on my whole body of work for most of the year. Because I'm working toward that particular exhibit in March is when I really go into my studio and start just creating. It just comes and comes and comes. It's amazing that the amount of work that I do with the thought of being at the Art of Living Black exhibit.
So it's like the deadline.
Yeah, I need that. That works for me. I know that it's going to happen in March, and I know that I need to have several pieces, and it just cranks out. It works for me very much. And then to be in the exhibit, it was the most, I don't even know if I had words. The first time I did it, especially at the convention center, to have all those African-American artists all in one place doing all these different kinds of pieces of art, all different kinds of medium. Everybody was so friendly. They talked to you. They told you how they did it. You could ask them questions. They were very supportive. They were told me about where to get postcards, how to get my images taken, pictures and making slides. They were just, that was my inspiration, is just going from booth to booth talking to people. I met a lot of people. I'm real isolated when I'm usually doing my art. I almost become a hermit. And so that's been changing, because now I have a group of friends and people that I know that do the same things that I do, and then some. So I'm really, really connected with the Art of Living Black.
I first heard about the Art of Living Black, I believe it was in 2002. A friend of mine, a fellow artist, was participating and gave me a directory and map for the show. So I came to the show that year, and I was basically floored by the amount and the level of talent that was on display. And I decided at that moment that I was going to be in the show the following year. And I followed up, and I did participate in the year 2003 and met a bunch of great artists, a lot of very talented people. I had a great time. It was a very inspirational event. The depth and the breadth of the work, it's amazing to me, some of the things that people do, creatively speaking, how they express themselves with their techniques, with their tools, the applications, ideas, and concepts that they lay out on paper or express in stone, be it sculpture, photography, or what have you. It's very diverse. A lot of very talented people, you know, and a lot of folks you never really hear about. I'm not sure why. I mean, I'm sure there's a lot of reasons for that, but to see so many talented people that are talented at such a high level come together in one place is just mind-blowing to me. Well, I guess one of the main things that makes me want to step up my game, you know, because I know if I'm going to be associated with these folks, that I need to have my thing on point as well. So it's just motivating, I guess, in that way. Yeah.
Experience been a great experience. I've been doing it for I think about 5 years. So it's always something I always look forward to and try to prepare for. You know, it's always good to see everybody, and it's a nice family atmosphere. So I always look forward to seeing everybody again and seeing what everybody's up to as far as like new works and life in general. Right. So I really do enjoy the drop off, and that's what I've experienced first when I first started going to the, being part of Art of Living Black. At first I was really nervous about doing the show because I was usually doing a lot of stuff on my own. So I never really worked with a lot of different artists like that before, so I was kind of skeptical, because I really checked out the show for a couple years before I actually was part of it. So when I finally got together and was going for the show and went to go drop off my artwork, you know, the experience was so great that it made everything else that much better. It really, just that initial contact with everybody and kind of seeing everybody happy to see each other, and, you know, the work that was there and everybody's kind of like, you know, reuniting. That was just a great experience for me, and it really just made me want to be part of it. And I was glad that I decided to go ahead. Well, in the way that it makes me want to do my best, as far as, like, you know, as far as my work, and have new pieces, and to kind of stretch and not get complacent with my work. I always want to have my best work out, you know, because I know everybody else there is going to be doing the same thing. So it inspires me in that way to really have my work together, and to try to stretch, you know, and just have you know, something to strive for.
Well, this year will be my 4th time participating in the Art of Living Black. And the first time I heard about it was through a friend of mine, Salongo Lee. And he said, hey, you know, let's go and take a ride. And we ended up here at the Richmond Art Center and walked through the hallway and ended up walking into that big, huge room at the end and just seeing phenomenal artwork, you know, just by so many different people. And I remember really being touched by the Arthur Wright's work and just the technique that he uses and everything, and I just thought it was amazing. And then as far as me showing my own artwork, I can't remember the first year, unfortunately. Anyway, it was amazing for me. It was scary because I'd never really done anything like that. You know, I went to school, but they never taught students how to exhibit their work and how to get portfolios together and things of that nature. So it was kind of just stepping out of a comfort zone and just to show my artwork and to get involved. And then it turns out that everybody was just down-to-earth, wonderful people, you know, just, it's like, come on in, come through, and, you know, whatever questions that I may have had, you know, they were answered. Yes, there are times when I'm not working physically on artwork. I'm always in my head a lot. And then when it's that time of year, when it's like, okay, you know, you've got to get prepared for the Art of Living Black, it's like, okay, you know, I just can't stay in that zone. I've got to actually create something, you know, to produce something. So it's inspired me that way.
Well, I like exhibiting my work. It gives me a chance to create new art every year, so that's really why I like it. It keeps me creating.
This is my 2nd time being with the Art of Living Black. The first time was in 2002, and it was the first time I ever showed as a professional artist with my peers. And I was so scared and so nervous and so awed by the rest of the artists. And it just came together. It became a community, especially that first weekend where we were all together in the convention center. And we came, you know, like there were 4 rows. And our row, there were 3 of us, and we just bonded together. And it made the weekend go so well. And then I had a lot of friends that were also showing. So I got to go around and see what they were doing and helping them out, and seeing the rest of the artists and the kinds of venues that they had. It was a wonderful experience. So this time when I was free, I wanted to do it again and to get back with that community that I was beginning to lose, because most of the artists were either in Oakland or San Francisco or Vallejo, and I was from Benicia, and there's very few of us there. That's a hard question to answer, because I don't think it so much inspired me as enlightened me. I think the inspiration was always there, and just the idea of all these Black artists coming together for such a big exhibit is really what got me, because growing up, I didn't know any black artists. I didn't know that we could do this volume of work. There were no books in the library on it. And no one spoke about it, even though my grandmother was an artist of sorts herself.
This is my first real exposure to the public. I mean, although I've been an artist all my life, since I was a kid, I can't remember not being drawing or painting, but this is my first exposure. So I'm not sure what to expect. I mean, I expect to see a lot of beautiful artwork, one. I don't know many artists, other artists, or not that knowledgeable about other artists' work. So I'm looking forward to seeing the sites. It's a bit nerve-wracking because only my friends and family have seen my art. Because it gives people a peek into something you choose to hold inside yourself. So I think I might be ready to take that plunge to allow people to see a part of me that they wouldn't normally see. So yeah, I mean, I'm a little nervous about it. And as an artist, I never know how people will react to what I do or a part of me. So in that sense, I'm a little nervous about it. But I'm looking forward to it, the experience, and hopefully I'll do more things like this coming up. But it's something new for me to experience public exposure. Now, when I attend the event and after the event, I have a strong feeling that it will inspire me when I see all the other beautiful pieces of art.
I had already committed to doing that. And every year that I've been involved with the Art of Living Black has been a growth experience. Every year it's gotten more and more artists involved, and every year there's been, I think the Richmond Art Center itself has committed more and more to the Art of Living Black. And Ray, she's done simply a fantastic job of getting it to where it is today. Yeah, I've been very much inspired by the Art of Living Black because it's provided me with a great number of venues to show the art that I do. A lot of the art that I do right now today has been developed in those years that I've been here. I've started using bleach as my medium instead of the traditional art mediums, and that was during that time of period of showing here at the Richmond Art Center and through the Art of Living Black. I can only give nothing but praise for it. Our exposure has been tremendous, and the venues have been varied indeed. Richmond Art Center being one place, but there have been others like CBS TV in San Francisco, Silicon Valley venues, many of them, but all through the Art of Living Black. I'm a charter member.
Oh, wow.
I'm a charter member.
How many were there?
Approximately 30 to 40 at the very beginning, and now there's, I believe, over 100.
About the Art of Living Black would be just a way to see artists in the community that I've, sort of seen everywhere. They're sort of like my mentors, and it's nice being in an exhibit with people that I know. I think that's the biggest reason why I keep on doing it, because mostly everyone in the show I know. So it's like just a reunion every year.
My first experience with it last year was really overwhelming. It was very nice. I enjoyed the experience because I generally don't get a chance to be around other artists, other than sometimes I get a chance to check out some exhibits at different galleries or whatever.
Ray and the Art of Living Black has been really valuable to me, to my growth as an artist. My, I guess, career got jump-started when I, joined the Art of Living Black. And just networking with the various artists, I've learned different things, in terms of presentation of your artwork, marketing your art, things like that. Also, you know, inspiration in terms of just seeing everyone else's work, you know. It's given me more ideas and expanded my, you know.
I feel good because the artwork that's in the gallery gives a voice that's needed. Oftentimes, one can go to a mainstream gallery or a museum and not see any images with a black person or something that relates to Africa or black people. So this exhibit provides a voice that's needed, or a voice that may not otherwise be heard. It's a form for a voice that may not be, well, it isn't really heard in mainstream art centers, and it gives a fuller picture to the world of art. Oftentimes in education, one's art education can be very Eurocentric and excludes Africa or black people. This adds a voice to the full spectrum of what art can be and what art is. This show adds a voice to the art voice, the art world. Yes, it's important for people to have a voice so they can be heard. It lets people know of your existence. Oftentimes one may hear one voice and they believe that's the whole picture, when in actuality there's a myriad of voices that are in the world and that are just as valid as any other voice.
I've been with the Richmond Art Center, with the Art of Living Black for about 10 years, from the beginning. And it's been a good experience. I've watched it grow. The first year we had our paintings in the corridor here, and each year would expand. So now we have the main gallery for the show, so that's been good through the years. So it's growing, and that's good, because they have major exhibits now at some of the galleries. Well, they always have an auction as a member, so we join, because then it's less expensive for us with some of the other things that we participate in, so it's less money. So becoming a member, I donate work to the auction each year. And as a result, I've picked up a few collectors as a result of that, who bought the work and who I've since interacted with. I've been painting now, even though I've been making art for a number of years, but I've been painting for 13 years. So I started showing at the Art of Living Black 1996, so I've been painting 3 years. So it always made me know, okay, I can look forward to this, and I have my open studio twice a year, Pro Arts, and also with the Art of Living Black. So that's been good.
Participating in the Art of Living Black has provided me an opportunity to really be in community with other artists, because I think that when artists are working professionally, it tends to be very isolative, unless you're like a collaborative artist or a performance artist. And to be able to like really meet new artists, you know, because the Art of Living Black is a venue where it accepts all artists, you know, of African descent. So it doesn't matter where you are in your career. You can participate. And I think what I have seen is I have seen people be timid about exhibiting, about showing their work even, like showing their work to their family even, and get to a point where they have a venue where they can show their work, and then it inspires them or pushes them or gives them something to continue to do more work for the next year. So in that regard, I think that it's really a wonderful thing, because particularly as African Americans, you know, you get Black History Month pretty much, and you can get into some other things, you know, if you're like really pushing yourself and aggressive about it, or if you've made it. But venues are scarce, you know, and of course you can go out there and you can create your own venues, and you can do all the work, all the publicity, you know, curate your own show, do all the framing, everything, which is like keeping you out of the studio. And so in that regard, I think The Art of Living Black is really wonderful. And one of the things that I really loved very early on is, oh gosh, it must have been like maybe the first or second year, there was a call. One of the artists, Salongo Lee, who is a photographer, and maybe Jonathan Eubanks, I can't remember. He's also a photographer, but I think it was mostly Salongo Lee. There was a big call for all the Art of Living Black members to meet downtown Oakland in front of City Hall and do a group photo. And I mean, there must have been 100 of us down there. And it was just so fabulous. And then everybody got, you know, a group photo, so you get to see all of those. You know, it's kind of a documentation. But also the fact that so many artists turned out for that really pointed to me about the benefit of having the Art of Living Black as a community builder. Because I know so many people now who like live around me, you know, like right in my neighborhood, that I never would have even known if it had not been for, you know, this organization. So kudos to Ray and Jan Hartshire. You know, I have to say this about the Art of Living Black. I have to say this about Ray Hayward. I think that she is one of the most fantastic, incredible people that I've known. She has, you know, like her partner that she developed the Art of Living Black with passed away very shortly after its inception. And Ray has carried this into all these fields. Now there's these satellite exhibits, there's the Richmond Art Center, there's the Convention Center, there's the beautiful gallery that we exhibit in now, and all the publicity, all the press releases, the fine brochure that comes out every year for the Art of Living Black, the featuring of artists. So, you know, artists get to look forward to the possibility of being the featured artist and having their own space, you know, in the gallery, which some people have never had before. And Ray has single-handedly tackled that. I mean, she has support from the community, but it's a testament to her because she has been able to go out and you know, get people behind her to you know, pull that together. So I just really needed to say that because, you know, the Art of Living Black is a lot of Ray. And I really appreciate her for that.
With the Art of Living Black, this is my second year and my second exhibition with the Art of Living Black. And I kind of, you know, feel it's a really good venue for all level artists. You know, if you're a beginner artist, if you're in the middle of your career, if you're at the part where you really don't feel that you have to do anything but exhibit work. So I think in that you find that it's a really good venue. And the people, you know, all of the people around you that are very supportive, you know, all of the board members and stuff like that, you feel a sort of, in their eyes, a sort of support, you know, and some of the times when they call you up, you know, and say, well, have you heard about this? Do you know about that? You know that you're getting support from an artist's perspective in the artist community. So I think it's a really good, yeah, I think support is really important. I think it's really important because everybody has an artist in them. But a lot of us are too shy. You know, we go on through life and we say, oh, I really, really want to do that and exhibit it and have other people enjoy it or get something out of it. But we never do it because we don't have the support. You know, you're always kind of wanting to be in the background or remembering sometime as a kid when you were teased or remembering, you know, when someone said that whatever you were doing was not good enough. It wasn't perfect in their eyes. So I think when you come through RAC as well as the Art of Living Black, you do get that there is perfection in imperfection. So I see it like that, and in that, I see a lot of support. I see a lot of coasting, a lot of pushing you up there.
It's been fabulous. I've been doing it now for, probably 8 or 9 years. It's just opened a lot of doors for me. It's made me actually feel like, I mean, it was really hard for me in the beginning to even think of myself as an artist. And so it's been one of the ways in which people have referred to me as an artist, and I'm just like, wow, okay. Met a lot of very wonderful people. I'm kind of a hermit, and now I feel like I'm really part of this community, and every year I get to see people again and see how their work is progressing. You know, I can't say enough about it. I think it's a really great opportunity, and I think Ray Louise Hayward is an amazing person to have pulled it together and made it happen all these years, in spite of how unruly artists can be. I did that because of that whole feeling about her, that because of her, this exhibition has been going on year after year for 10 years. That's an incredible feat to keep anything going that long, and to, you know, she's always sending out emails to everybody. She's just, you know, she's just an incredible center of a node of the network, you know, the hub of the wheel. I mean, it's just amazing. Well, yeah, she was a source of, she was the source of the inspiration for the piece that I did. The piece is called The Art of Living Black in the Time of Perpetration, and I've done a big series of work on perpetration. The Art of Living Black, to me, is Black artists, artists of African descent, actually bursting through the constraints and repression of the society, and actually being able to make their art visible and put it out there. The piece is about that, you know.
My experience with the Art of Living Black, I was instantly kind of drawn to the camaraderie that I felt in my first experience when I came to drop off a piece, and there were other artists there that were helping each other to get signed up, and people had dropped off their work, and it was scattered about the room, and I got a chance to kind of wander around on my own and look at people's stuff, and I was awed by the quality of work that I saw and the quantity of quality artists that were there. Because I live a little distance, I've never gotten a chance to bond as much as I would like to with some of the artists, but it always felt like a really strong community, and I always felt a part of it. Really invigorating environment. So I loved it. And in the first couple of years, people really told me how great my stuff was, but no kind of financial rewards came from that. So in the third year, I was contemplating maybe not being involved. But my wife, who's a great conscience and voice of wisdom for me, convinced me to go for it. And since then, the piece I've entered has sold every year, and I've got a lot of great feedback and connections. So I love the Art of Living Black, and I would encourage anyone out there watching this to get involved. Yeah, because just that casual atmosphere, and one thing that I wasn't prepared for, because I had never experienced it, was just how open and inviting and sharing people are of information, and where's the best place to get photography or materials and that kind of thing, or the best galleries, and it was just a wealth of information and just people willing to share, as opposed to some industries where it's pretty competitive and cutthroat, and you better figure that out on your own, you know. One of the first people that stands out is the Arthur Wright, just his. I could come across so many words trying to describe the Arthur, but just a generous man with a generous spirit. Shortly after I met him there, I got a chance to hang out with him in Oakland, and he took me around to various galleries and introduced me to people. And he's like the mayor of Oakland, you know, kind of knows everybody, he knows all the spots, people know him. Just was a really bright spirit. He had a great influence on me.
I heard about it from someone who came to, I had a booth at Art and Soul, I think it was 2004, and they told me about it. So I said, why not? And the fee was right. It wasn't, you know, $500 or something. So, so I just submitted, and
How you been?
this is only my second year that I've participated, and I really like the show. I like the people, you know, that come through and everything. I've sold, well, every show that I've done, I've sold everything, at least by the end of, you know, maybe a week later, like somebody will order from me or whatever, but mostly everything that I've done, I've sold at the show.
Including the convention center.
Oh, I'm sorry, except for that one, the one that I just, that I put in the gallery, I didn't sell yet, that one. But the other 6, I sold those, and the year before I sold them all. Yeah.
Actually, this is my first year being part of the Art of Living Black. I really enjoyed it because it gave me opportunity to be around a lot of other artists like myself that do artwork, which I don't get a chance to. I spend a lot of time alone, so I don't get a chance to spend a lot of time with other artists. So when I can be in an environment where I can be around other artists is helpful to me, because I have a regular job and I work a lot of overtime. So to be able to go into environment, see a lot of African American artists, relate to them on same scales, background, aspirations, goals, it was really inspiring for me, definitely. When I found out about the Art of Living Black, I was at the post office, and I did some work. I got some work scanned, and I decided to get the work put in the calendar, one-page calendar, a few pieces of work. So there was a gentleman that came into the post office, which is the next block over, and he says, your work is really good. You should go down to the Richmond Art Center. So I went into the Richmond Art Center, and the deadline it had already passed. So I showed a girl, because I keep a book of artwork in my purse, and she says, well, let me call over and see if they're still extending time. So happened they did, and it so happened that I had enough money to afford to pay for the whole show. So I paid for the gallery, and then I paid for the show. And I said, well, I've never done this before. They says, well, there's a lot of people that haven't. So just, you know, do whatever you feel and bring in all your work. So that was it. And a friend of mine, I told him what had happened, and he was like, wow, I want to be part of that show. He says, you know, are they accepting artists? I told him yes. But he was saying to me, he's like, wow, you know, that show is really a popular show, well known in the Bay Area. So I was like, great. I said, well, great opportunity for me to be part of something that is recognized. So I was like, well, you know, let's see what happens. So it was really a spur of the moment opportunity. You know, when you're in an environment where you're around your family, your friends, and you're the only person that's an artist, it makes a big difference. I'm the only person in my family that's an artist. Everyone else does music or other things, other aspects, but no one is like me. So sometimes I feel like I'm separate from other people. So it was really nice to be in an environment where there were other people of my color and race that's doing the same thing. It was really nice. It was surprising, because I was like, wow, you know, it's a lot of people there. I was like, wow. And I could see just the unity of the people gathering together and helping you fill out the paperwork and so forth. And it was just really, really nice. I was really happy that I participated into the Art of the Living Black. Actually, I came to there was a little gathering before the Art of Living Black exhibit in the gallery, and I got a chance to talk to a few artists, and it was really nice. One of the guys' work I saw, I loved the drawing, and I got a chance to meet him, and then there was a couple other people that I got a chance to meet, so I was like, wow, you know, it was really nice, and they were just so welcoming, and the lady, she's the watermelon lady, I like her a lot, and it's like, you could tell why her work is so good, because she's such a bubbly person. So even when she walked up to me and talked to me and told me who she was, automatically that was really inspiring for me. And then when I saw her at the show, she did very well. You could tell everyone was just at her booth constantly, because you could tell that her attitude and her personality just was vibrant. It was all around her booth, and it was like people were coming around, and she would just really impress. You know, she was really bringing people in. It was just the fact that she felt confident about her work, and also she had a theme, and she stuck with that theme. And you know, it's just something that I heard Russell Simmons say a few weeks ago. He says, if you believe in something real, you know, you can have a product, but if you believe in it strongly, run with it. He said, because that's where success comes from. And you could tell that she was a very likable person. Definitely, she did real well. I could tell that.
Talk about that.
Well, the Art of Living Black, I heard about it about maybe 7 years ago. I came to the Richmond Art Center, went to one of the exhibitions, and I was a friend of Edwin Rutsch, and he told me about it, and I came to, see his work and got to see everybody else. I moved to Richmond about 6 years ago, and I kept getting information about the Art of Living Black, but I never participated because I was always busy with my 9-to-5 job. Then my sister-in-law called me last year and asked me if I knew Ray Hayward. And I told her that I heard about her, but I never met her personally. And she was telling me that she was married to her cousin, and she was telling me that she was one of the founders of the Art of Living Black, and that I should contact her and get some information. So I did contact Ray Hayward, but she didn't get back to me right away. My sister-in-law came to visit in San Francisco, and she took me over to Ray Hayward's house to meet her. And then I got a call about, I guess, a month later, and Ray Hayward was saying, I just saw, it was something that I sent her, an invitation to my art show or something. And she said, I had it in a pile of papers, but I just got this, and I'm sorry that I couldn't come. And, we talked, and then I reminded her that I was her husband's cousin's sister-in-law. Anyway, so that's the way that we got acquainted. And she kept encouraging me and saying that she was really glad that I was going to be involved in the show, in the exhibit. And then I went and dropped off my artwork, and like everyone else said, the being among the other artists that were there and just in a casual situation, being able to talk to everyone was, very exciting and inspiring. Then I was also involved in the artist talks, and that was also very inspiring. Well, the artists were sitting on one side of the room, and the guests were sitting on the other side of the room, and they asked us questions, and we also talked about specific subjects. One of the subjects was commercial art versus fine art, marketing your art, just different subjects. Yes, we walked around, and as we got to each of our pieces, we talked about the inspiration for each piece. It was exciting, but it was even more so exciting hearing what other artists had to say about their pieces, because, a lot of times when you look at a piece of artwork, you get a different message than what the artist had intended. And the piece that I had in there was entitled Reconnected. And the inspiration for that piece was, after all the difficulties and challenges that you go through in life, that you have to sometimes sit back and be still and be reconnected to your inner self or God, and just listen to that inner voice. Yeah, that was the piece that was
this year,
at the Richmond Art Center this year. This is my first time exhibiting.
This is your first time
yes,
exhibiting?
yes.
Oh,
I've come to see the exhibitions, but I had never participated. So this is the first time participating.
How did you feel about that being?
Well, I felt, one thing I like about the exhibit is that it doesn't just end at the Richmond Art Center, that it continues. You can exhibit at the Richmond Auditorium, and then you have the artist talks, and then you have people visiting your studios, so it was just a series of experiences with different artists and the public. The most inspiring aspect was communicating and interacting with other artists, and seeing what they're creating and seeing how they market their artwork, and receiving energy and creativity from the other artists as well. The most outstanding? Well, I can't pinpoint one specific piece because there were several artists that I saw, you know, the way that they were marketing their pieces or the way they reproduced their artwork that just made me go, you know. And for instance, one was Monica Stewart. Now, her exhibit was so massive, you know, because the paintings were so huge. And also, I've seen a lot of her work in print, but I had never seen it in person. Yeah, she was at the Richmond Convention Center.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, she was at that
So you're talking about that
exhibit as well. Yeah, Shantae. Yeah, I was impressed by her. She did some calendars. And, you know, I liked the way she did the calendars. I thought that that was very clever and trucky. His, you know, his theme of his daughter, you know, very straight and to the point. And, you know, it's just something that you don't have to really struggle over, okay, what am I going to paint next? You know, where's my inspiration going to come from? You know, I think I was really inspired by those who had a theme and just went with it. You know, because with me, my ideas are usually seasonal. You know, it's, for instance, I did a series of paintings when I lived in New York, and I tried to illustrate the summers there in New York. And then after that was finished, I had to think of another series. You know, so I did another series of Italy. When I visited Italy, I did paintings of that. And when I was very involved in my church, there was a series of a spiritual adventure that I was on.
I learned about it from Corinne Innes, who owned a gallery in downtown Oakland called the Chi Gallery. I was in the gallery. I was in downtown Oakland, actually, across the street at Les Cheval, and I stopped in the gallery, and then I just started visiting. We'd talk about art, and both being from the Caribbean, having Caribbean ancestry, and so she mentioned The Art of Living Black, and kept talking to me about it, and then I think then Ray Louise Hayward called me, and so that's how I started. It's very relaxed. I like it. It's just so unassuming. It's just so different from sort of the mainstream art world. Or, you know, I read art news and Art in America a lot, and sometimes things seem a little bit too pretentious for me. And so I liked the relaxed atmosphere and the way in which people were extremely supportive of one another and friendly. Well, I suppose it would be the drop-off is the most memorable in terms of how the artists interacted with one another, and just very helpful, very friendly. Everyone is supportive of one another as artists, and that was very, very, it's a very relaxing atmosphere, and very inspiring.
And
the variety, there are so many artists at this point participating, I think 100 artists, and just the variety of art. And I think the freedom to just paint what you want to paint is very inspiring, as opposed to painting for some critic or some outer source of information about what art should be or what it should look like or what stage, the state of the art world. People just paint what they want to do, and I like that. Well, I was surprised. I was surprised to win the award. Particularly, I was surprised the piece that won the award. That was, I guess, my 5th year, and I just grabbed a piece as I was running out the door. I said, "Oh, I've got to go drop off something," and I just grabbed a piece that I thought, okay, I'll just show this, and it was a nude, and And it was chosen as one of the 3 pieces for the Jan Hartshire Artistic Achievement Award. So that allowed me to show a greater number of pieces of art in the following year. And that was pretty exciting. Yeah, I had 9 pieces. It was sweet. It was nice. And it allowed me to show a whole series as opposed to one piece. It's hard to pick one piece. For me, it's hard to pick one piece. It's always been each year, it's like, okay, which piece do I want to show? And which piece do I want to represent me? And so it was nice to be able to show that many pieces in one show. I got wonderful responses, and particularly the fact that I feel that I'm sort of loosening up a bit, and my nudes are becoming progressively more abstract, and that's because I'm just feeling freer and less constrained, and so I like the direction that I'm going in, and I've gotten a lot of positive feedback for it.
And Mark Trotter told me about the Art of Living Black, and from that point on, I made the telephone calls and paid my money and joined. And I was very nervous, frightened, terrified, and then of course when I came in to bring my artwork, I was just overwhelmed at the quality of the artwork, but everybody was just so comfortable, so as they were. I felt uncomfortable, just because I had rollers and I just left the beauty shop and came straight over. But I looked at all these people, and then they were just so warm, and they started helping me and assisting me very basically. And that was my first experience. Now, that was when we brought the paintings in, and then at the reception, they were even more warm. It was, of course, my first reception, I should say, and I kind of overdressed in a suit and heels and that sort of thing, and everybody else was very relaxed, but I enjoyed it. And I met a lot of the artists, and they were very generous and helpful, and the author was wonderful. From what I'm hearing, he's helped many, many people, and I am also one of those individuals that he's taken a lot of time to encourage me to try to feel more comfortable as an artist, and as I mentioned before, make the transition from a nurse to an artist. So if someone were to ask me what it is that I do, I would say a nurse first. And I need to say an artist first. But at this point, I believe I have made the transition. So and this is something I think that this workshop in itself has helped me. So this past week, I did a painting. And I'm not sure what it's going to be entitled of, but I did a painting of a woman. But in the middle of the painting, on the side of the painting, I have like a mirror reflection of me sitting down as an artist painting the model. And the name that I was going to initially give it is The Artist. So now I think I've graduated. I told my daughter, I said, you know what? I'm an artist now. This is my painting, The Artist. I feel like I am the artist. I'm just in this, there we go, the snap again, It's coming back. I'm just in there now. And, I'm in the groove, and I don't know when I'm coming out, and I don't know if I want to come out. So it's like being on this cloud 9. You just have this inspiration everywhere. And I'm inspired by everything. There's so many folks who are in this room and, inspired me, pulled me to the side, and Pat, you need to do this, you need to do that, and that's the way it is. You know, it's very representative of the extended family and of blacks and the extended family. You know, we speak to everybody, we try to help out everybody, and I'm generalizing, but I mean, it's like coming home and to family and then discovering that all of your family are artists. It's like, oh my God. So, I mean, that's how I feel.
Yeah, I can sense.
I mean, that's what this show does for me, you know, and the things that are important, you know, and I'm at a time in my life where there's been a lot of transition. And so now I'm really able to pick out those things that are important and let go of those things that are not so important, that I've done to impress ABC and not to make myself happy. And art is one of those things that has truly made me happy and helped me to calm down and feel at peace with myself and with, you know, the surrounding world.
This was my first showing. I've done a lot of art, you know, in my house and in little shop areas that I've set up, but I've never shown anything. I mean, I give stuff to friends or, you know, yeah, just kind of give stuff to friends or have stuff around the house myself, and people come over and say, "Oh, well, this is nice," so I give it to them. So, but this is the only way I've shown. I liked it a lot, and I got a lot of good positive feedback from people, and I met a lot of good artists. I met Malik through that, and I actually had known him before, but just meeting other artists and kind of connecting and getting feedback on what I'm doing and seeing what other people are doing, and, you know, all that. It was a good experience. The first show, I was on the cover of the, among 12 of the other artists, I was on the cover of the brochure, which was a big deal for me because I was like, whoa, that's my piece, you know. And so that was a good high point. And then I got an honorable mention for my work because I'm doing this kind of different thing that hadn't been seen. So that was good. 2 big high points for me there.
I guess this is my 8th year. I think I started the 3rd year. And what the Art of Living Black has been for me is, I like to say the Art of Living Black grows artists. Because this show existed, it gave me something to shoot for. I had been doing art my whole life, you know, periodically here and there. Maybe every couple of years I'd do a little series, and then I wouldn't do anything for the next 2 years. And I had done some showing and selling, I guess, in the early to mid 70s. But when this show happened, it gave me something to shoot for, and my art really blossomed, and here was this show. And also, it's given me community. I would just say half the people I'm close to or that I really interact with now are people from the Art of Living Black. So it's just created this community that I don't think would exist in any other way. I sold several pieces that first year, and Ray called me to tell me that my piece was the first piece sold in the show that first year. And I was just ecstatic. I really didn't know what to do or how to be in my body. I just kind of jumped around my living room, and it was very exciting. And another piece sold that was in the windows. We had, I guess, like a satellite exhibit in Jack London Square in the windows of some empty buildings there. And my piece there also sold. And a couple other pieces sold along the way. And it was just absolutely, I can't describe it. High point, very high point. Oh, absolutely. It made me want to do more art, but my art began to change. You know, it's not like I could just reproduce the same thing over and over. I'm just not that way. And it's like an exploration. So the art that I did after that wasn't received in quite the same way, but because this show existed, every year you have to get ready for the Art of Living Black. So it keeps you going and keeps you motivated. And every year, you know, people look at my work, at the piece I have in the show, and they go, you keep changing. And I would just say it gave me a chance to kind of go back to art school and explore, because there were so many things that excited me and that I thought I wanted to do, and I could just do them. And I'm now beginning to kind of get settled in a direction, and coincidentally, the direction I'm going in is painting, just figurative painting. And the piece I had in the show this year did win an honorable mention. So that was also a high point, definitely a high point.
I think I attended one of the Art of Living Black exhibits and was very inspired by the large community of artists that I saw there. I had studied art in, oh gosh, in the 70s at UC Berkeley so many years ago and got waylaid by family and different careers and was just coming back into the art world and was very inspired and was convinced to not audition, but to sign up for the following year, which I did, and ended up at that first year being one of the 3 selected award winners to be featured the next year. So it was a great boost to my ego, and I felt like, oh, after all these years away from art, I still have it. I can still ride that bicycle. So I really enjoyed both getting the award and having my art kind of validated after having not done any artwork in a while. I was inspired by the range of just beautiful artwork and the range, the numbers of people, the variety, from crafts to fine art, jewelry, abstract, figurative. It just really covered a full range of art. And I've always felt just really happy being around art. If I go to an exhibit, for example, I come away feeling just awed and blessed and just inspired and feeling like, oh, I need to go home and see if I can do something. So just being around art automatically makes me feel good and inspired to create my own.
Peak experience for the Art of Living Black. I think when I decided to do the convention center and sell some work at the you know, as a vendor, so to say. We had our own booths, and I had a lot of people who really wanted to purchase my work. I wasn't necessarily a booth type artist, you know, and so I tried to set my booth up the best that I could, and you know, I had a lot of people, a lot of buyers, a lot of people who were interested in buying my work. And so when I must have made about, what, $700. And I said, oh, okay, all right. Think I'm gonna have to come back next year for this one here. You know, the inspiration, what brings me is to know that all my fellow artists, that when I come back, there's always something new, always something fresh. There's never a dull moment with the Art of Living Black.
This is my 3rd year participating in the Art of Living Black, and I've done 2 satellite shows. And this year, the satellite show I did was in Vallejo, which is a community that I would normally not seek out to exhibit my work in. So one of the benefits of being in the Art of Living Black is doing satellite shows. And with that show, I actually got a lot of press, a lot more press than I've ever received for any of my shows. And it was the local paper did an article and interviewed the artist for the show. And my work was featured on the cover of the Speak Out Loud. There's a local paper there. So it's been good. It's been a very good experience. But it was good exposure because it also went as far as Fairfield, you know, and so just the exposure and letting people know that there's this person out there creating this work that other people find interesting may interest them in seeking it out as well. Well, my peak experience so far happened last year. The work that I've been exhibiting in the Art of Living Black is a series called Someday We'll All Be Free. And last year I was fortunate enough to have 2 of the works published in a book. And the book was put up by Rizzoli Press. So that's been my high point so far.
So I've been participating in 9 of the 10 years. I believe it was in '96, the first year, right? This was our 10th year anniversary. And I had been out of the country, and I knew Ray from Pacific Bell days when we did the employee art exhibit there once a year. And she called and told me about it, so I jumped in and I had the exhibit. If I'm correct, we had them at our own studios on that first year. And so I had my little, you know, plate of cookies and my photos from, I had a lot of photos from Paris because I'd been there for about a month. And it was just a real great first event. I had not really ever done an art show, open studio type thing. So I was really excited about it. And that kicked off my being an exhibitor. And my low point, if I could say, was the year I didn't submit, and I went to the exhibit at Richmond Art Center, and I felt so left out. Because I really, maybe it was like 3 years or 4 years into it, I wasn't able to participate, but I went to the show, and I just said, never again. I will be there every year, because that was my, that was my family, and I just felt like that is something I don't want to miss ever. The idea of having people come and comment on your work, people's reaction, people getting inspired to go away and get a camera and shoot. And one of the things I like to do is to push people to jump into art. I don't care what I'm doing, where I'm showing or whatever, is to ask them, well, by the way, do you take pictures? And when people, just this past year, I usually say that, and when children are up at a particular photograph, I'll say, do you take photos? And they go, oh, well, yeah. Well, Dad, you got to give them a camera. Or adults will ask me, a little bit about, well, I've got this old camera, blah, blah, blah. And it used to be half of, or maybe more of my photographs were film at the time. Now, a number of them that I exhibit are digital, but I go back and forth because I like both. And I'll tell folks, just get a disposable from, a drugstore and shoot. And you can shoot in your backyard and get a lot of good things. Oh, I'll tell you, my grandkids have little cameras, both of them. One's a little Fisher-Price camera, but the other one has a regular little SLR that we passed down. So, but family members in my family, everybody's pretty much, they either run from me because I have a camera, or else they come to show me that they've gotten a camera. Well, my two sons, I bought them each cameras, different in teenage years, and one of them's doing headshots and professionally model shots in LA. So my youngest son is shooting, and my other son shoots on and off. He's a full-time dad now. Well, I get a sparkle in my eyes when I start talking about shooting. I mean, and I do other things in my full-time life. But that'll get me all jazzed up, so I guess maybe it carries over when I talk to other folks.
Ray Louise Hayward, one of the co-founders, is a good friend of mine, and we actually started showing our work at a show in Los Angeles. I believe it was back in '91. And I believe that's where she got the concept for the Art of Living Black. And I participated in it, in the Art of Living Black since it started. It feels like being a part, it feels like family. The reception that we have here at the center is great. Everybody's connected. We've had the open studios at Ray's home in Pinole, and it's always a pleasure. Each time I come, it's warm, it's welcoming. Patrons come out, and everybody, it's just like a party, really. It's great. Being with the other artists, just kind of vibing off what other artists are doing and all coming together, it's always inspiring. There's always a lot of drinking going on. I can't really remember too much.
I didn't know about that. Tell me more about this.
Once the wine starts flowing, I don't remember much, but no, but it's always inspiring. This was mid-'90s, was in Los Angeles doing the Pan-African Film Festival. That show ended. When I left there, I drove to Fox Hills, which is where the artist Salute to Black History Month originated, in this mall in Fox Hill. And they were giving a show there, but I hadn't signed up for it, and I didn't have the information about it, but another artist told me that they were having a show there. So I went there and I talked to the person in charge, and I told him that I'm an artist. I just did the Pan-African Film Festival, and you got a space available for me. And once I told the guy my name, he knew me and he gave me a spot. And then I passed that story on to Ray, and she got a kick out of it. She still teases me today, calling me the famous Calvin Curry. And my wife laughed. Nobody believed me when I told them that I didn't have to fill out an application. I didn't have to show my work. They just welcomed me, and I got like prime space in this big art show in Southern California. So that's a kind of a joke. Me and Ray, we go back and forth. Well, I called Ray up and told her about the experience I had, and I teased her and told her, I'm famous now, so I don't have to fill out applications and turn in slides and turn in photos. I can just say my name and get a spot. So she started teasing me ever since then, calling me the famous Calvin Curry. And I call her the famous Ray Louise Hayward, because of course she co-founded the Art of Living Black, and she's had numerous awards and newspaper write-ups and things. So I tease her and call her world-renowned.
I can't remember when I went in. I know that that first year, I think it was the first year that my painting was of a swing and children on swings, and I sold the painting, and I was chosen for the award, and I couldn't believe it. I really couldn't. I cried, and Ray was there to hold me up. I've had my picture in all the newspapers, including the Chronicle and the Oakland paper, Tribune, and it's just totally positive to be able to show at Pro Arts. That's another thing. I asked the woman, was she sure she was coming to my house to get something for that show? I just think that it's the most positive thing about my art career has been my experience with this group of 110 plus artists who are so creative. The Art of Living Black has been a totally positive experience, all positive. The energy of the artists, 110 plus, the marvelous generosity of our director, our Ray Louise, her work, which inspires me, the color in her work, the fact that my work has been shown in the newspapers and I won the award one year, and everything is positive. More than I could have imagined has happened because of the Art of Living Black. Met Ray Louise downtown Oakland at a show. She came and invited me. And so I've just been there for the Art of Living Black. I champion the Art of Living Black whenever I see artists. I say, you're not a part of that. You don't know what you're missing. You don't know how important it can be for you to be a part of this and to be here at this Richmond Art Center, which is a very, it's like home. Every year to come here and show in this gallery that they take so much time to prepare for us. It's all good. Well, especially when I won, was one of 3 and got to show with Fuad Satterfield, I can't think of his name, Fuad, and Miss Ennis, Corrine Ennis, and I felt just like big artists. That was great to have my work singled out like that and get money, the award. It was very special for me. It inspires you. I remember when I had one, and then I knew I would have to produce more for that next year. And I work kind of spastically, you know, not always on it, but I knew then I would have to be a little more, I'd have to do more. So it propelled me to work harder.
My first experience with the Art of Living Black was one of my teachers at California College of Arts and Crafts by the name of Brian Keefe Thomas. He's also a mentor. Told me about the show, and I was a junior at the time, and I came and saw the show, and I was overwhelmed. It was just incredible, the feeling just to see all this wonderful collaborative work in one place. And so it inspired me to want to find out how to get into the show. So I've been in the show for 2 years now. My first year I was a senior at CCA, and I put a piece in the show, and it was just a really good feeling. Got to meet some wonderful people and got to also see some wonderful art. And I did the show again last year. And I actually sold a piece at the Featherly Gallery, so that was really exciting.
I came to the Art of Living Black to see the show in 1999. And my favorite words, touched, moved, and inspired. I was just so excited. My friend Kimberly told me about it, and we went together. And I was almost in tears when I left there. I said, this is so good to me. And I had just started painting what I do in 1999 also. I was in a transition in my life. And I said, my girlfriend said, go play, just go play, enter it. I said, okay, I'm going to play. I'm going to get on this here playing field. So I did. In 2000, I took my work to the drop-off, and Ray Louise met me, and Renata, and they were excited about what I did. I was like, oh, okay. If they're excited, I'm excited. I'm even more excited because they're excited. And I went to the show. I was scared as I could be. My pictures looked like I was scared. And my son came, and he cried. My oldest son came, and he cried. He's like, Mom, you did it. You're here. I was just, it was the best thing that ever happened. And the next year, I chickened out. I said, it just happens once in a lifetime. And then Ray Louise called me, and she says, how come you didn't enter? And I says, well, I just thought that was just it. That's all I had to give. And she says, no, you have to just keep doing it. And so then I came back, and I've been going ever since. So now this is my 5th year. And my picture was on the front of the magazine this year, and I was too excited. I was, when it came to my job, I was so glad when nobody in my office, I just started screaming and, oh, hallelujah moments. That was so good to me. It's been fun. It's just been fun. And to meet the other artists and just to see all these people of color who are called Black in one room doing what they do passionately, I'm excited all year to come back and be involved. The first time I came to see the show?
Yeah.
The first time I came to the reception, and the first time I walked into the reception, and the energy was high. And all these people seemed so excited. They seemed like they knew what they were doing. I walked around, looked at all the art pieces, and all the artists were standing there so proudly looking at their things. And I was like, this is the world I want to be in. This resonates in me. This says yes to me. And I was holding on to my girlfriend, walking out of there. I said, we have got to go eat. Because when something good happens, you got to go eat something good. So we went and had some good dessert. Because that's what makes me happy when I feel excited. So, and that's all I could talk about for the next year until that paper came into my mail and I signed it and sent it off.
2 years ago, a friend of mine, Jason Austin, made me aware that this was even going on because I was basically doing my work on the street or whatever venue was taking my work. And I got to do one of the satellite shows in Vallejo, which at the Federally Gallery at that time, they were not involved, it seems, in the African American community, you know, as far as the arts were concerned. And, you know, that bothered quite a few of us because there's quite a few artists that live in Vallejo. And we wanted to knock down the door. So, to my surprise, that particular year at that show, they had made my work the featured work. Of course, I was late for that too, but it blew my mind. It was really cool. So the Art of Living Black has been nothing but beautiful to me, especially the people involved. They've been more than kind and inspirational in itself. I've seen people with feelings like me, you know. The intimacy of what it's like to be quote-unquote Black showed up very strongly, and it showed just truly how diverse this group of so-called Black people are, you know. No, but it actually, something happened at another gallery in San Francisco who were reviewing my work, and I went through the process of going back for second and third type interviews, you know, so I figured at that point, you know, I was in, although I didn't see anybody's work that was of color, you know, per se, and how nonchalantly I was treated, you know. It seemed like they was giving me the runaround till they could find either something they wanted more or, I don't know, what they thought represented being ethnic was, you know. And I took my work and walked, you know. I mean, I didn't appreciate the way I was treated, pretty much, because I know my work has value, even if it's only to me, you know. So, yeah, that kind of inspired me to find what else was going on, basically. I don't look at people in terms of their hue, you know. I don't think that reflects who they are, nor their gender. So I thought it was a bunch of nonsense, really, you know, coming from the South and the places I grew up in Detroit. I just didn't have time to waste my time with racism, basically. It's a waste.
Mm-hmm.
Well, yeah, that particular time over at the Federally show, the Satellite show, I mean, man, it was some knockout art there, you know. There's a few people who's working here that I truly respect, you know. I think they're incredible. And having been picked from amongst them, yeah, man, I felt great. I really, that was inspiring, no doubt. Well, I mean, well, they did a little write-up on me, and they let me have more work, basically, been put up than a few of the others, which I guess is not fair, but I had nothing to do with it, really. I didn't even know about it till I got there. But yeah, I was psyched. It was cool.
So the actual the extra acknowledgement.
Yeah, being acknowledged, yeah, for your work, it's nothing like it. I mean, Lord knows in the artist's life, you're going to get a lot of turndowns, you know. It's not even about the sale or any of that stuff. To me, it's the recognition that someone is trying to appreciate what you've done, your communication.